What's up guys, CyberHoudini here and welcome back to your daily dose of gaming. Hello, welcome on in. It is the 13th of May. We are one day away from the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm excited. Today brings a lot of awesome news, confirming some stuff we've been talking about throughout the week, and a little more news surrounding E3, which is less than a month away. Exciting times for sure. Hell yes. Let's kick things off. No messing around today. We're also going to be doing a little bit of more Resident Evil Village. I've been loving it. We just took on a massive boss. And now we're moving on to some spooky stuff. I love it. Okay, so the first news of today is a brand new 3D Donkey Kong game coming. Now, this seems to be what is happening. It's been a while. Donkey Kong is celebrating his 40th year anniversary. God bless him. He's getting a little bit older. He's getting into middle age now, you know. We had Donkey Kong before Mario, if you can believe that. But yeah, the rumors are that we may be getting a new 3D Donkey Kong game. We haven't had a proper full 3D Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64. That was a rareware game. I think it was one of their last games before they went and were bought by Microsoft. But a lot of people were kind of mixed on that one, you know. It definitely had, you know, vibes of Banjo-Kazooie for sure, but it was a lot of fun at the time. Just going back to play it is a little bit more rough. I think one of the biggest issues is the fact that you had to, you know, backtrack just to change characters, just to collect certain bananas, and that was a bit rough. But yeah, we'll see what's happening. There's apparently a 2D and a new 3D Donkey Kong game coming, and it's meant to be head up by the Super Mario Odyssey team, which is crazy. That'd be like one of the main Nintendo teams. I know they just got finished with doing Bowser's Fury, but we'll see. It's all just rumor for now. We got Nintendo Life reporting on it, but it's pretty much been making its way throughout the Twitterverse and everything, all the Reddits and all that. You know how it is, Resetera and NeoGAF, and yeah, mostly rumors. But a couple of sources have now pretty much, you know, confirmed that I'd say that something is happening. Anyway, we'll see. It may be a collection. Who knows? Everybody was very happy with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It'd be nice to see them do something else. Now, this probably will not be... The reason this has not been done by Retro, who have made the Donkey Kong Country games, is because they are working on Metroid Prime 4, and who knows what else. But I'm excited. You know, I think there's still a great place for Donkey Kong, and I still think, like, their 2D or 2.5D offerings with Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are still better than some of the new 2D games from Mario. You know, I was not happy with what they did with, you know, new Mario Brothers Deluxe U and all that. It was just horrible. I could not play it. And in a world where, like, the Rayman Origins and Legend games and Guacamelee as well, or Guacamelee, just incredible, like, 2D, multiplayer 2D. This is the important part, right? There's a lot of great 2D platformers out there and side-scrollers. But when you add that multiplayer factor, it changes it a lot. And they become semi-like party games in a good way, you know? And Rayman Legends is just fucking amazing. And it was just sucks that, you know, there's nothing too wrong with Super Mario... New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe U and all that, but I found, like, once you added multiplayer into it, it was just horrendous. You know, you were getting in each other's way instead of having fun with it. So it was the only word for it was inaccessible for multiplayer, in my opinion. You know, everybody's different, of course, but yeah, you gotta kind of weigh out. I mean, we all love throwing each other off the edge and bumping into each other. It's fun for a while, but when you're actually trying to finish a level and you're impeding each other, that's not fun anymore. That's like a puzzle to try and get away from the other person. Anyway, but that's not the case with Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. It was super fun how they did it, you know, and it kept that wackiness. No one knew that they could pull something like that off, and they really did. So I'd love to see both things happen. Usually what happens with Nintendo and most, like, big publishers is when they have something really good, they kind of lock down that formula, and they can bring in other teams to, and it goes for, you know, a lot of the bigger other publishers as well, but they bring in other teams to basically make a sequel in a similar vein. You've got things like how Uncharted went from Uncharted 4 and then brought in another team with the same formula that made Uncharted Lost Legacy. And things like that happen. It happens a lot, you know. You've still got the original vision. Maybe even some people still on that, how's it going, Brayfang? You've still got people on that team. Hello, dude. Thank you for that host. The one and only Brayfang. How are you doing, man? How's your Thursday? It's very early for you. Do you have a day off? I hope so. I hope so. I hope I haven't been working too hard. I hope you're doing well, dude. We're just talking about a new Donkey Kong. Possibly a new Donkey Kong 3D platformer coming. I think it'd be really cool. After seeing like what they did with 64 back then, I think he deserves to be brought back. You know, hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. So yeah, the original story was there. We have a little update from people. This is like I heard unlikely rumor that the Mario Odyssey team are working on. So yeah, it's just all rumor for now. But everyone wants another 3D Mario. But we'll see about that as well. Like Bowser's Fury felt like Mario Odyssey 1.5 a little bit, you know. I know it's just one big open world, but I think that's probably what they're working on for Mario. I mean, shit, we're still waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, please. Can we get that? Please, thank you. But yeah, 40 years, good God. It would be awesome. So yeah, this is, yeah, don't expect the country moniker. So that's where I think like it may have its own little name like Donkey Kong 3D or even Donkey Kong 64 or something. Who knows, you know? Who knows? But that's cool. So yeah, they'll keep the Donkey Kong country thing for, you know, the 2.5 games and that, which is completely fine. But it's kind of cool that there might be a chance of both happening. I doubt they'd announce a 2D and a 3D one straight away. That has never worked for them in the past. It kind of happened when they did what happened with Samus Returns, and it was kind of sent out to die, which was a bit sad. We don't want that, because that's a great game. That deserves to be re-released on the Switch. It's so good. It's right up there with, you know, Super Metroid, for sure. Hell yeah. So, yeah, exciting times coming. I think Nintendo are really going to absolutely blow us away this E3, because they're going to treat this like a mid-generation refresh with the Switch Pro, which is all but confirmed at this point. So they'll be doing that. So I can only imagine there will be an absolutely huge list of games that they'll announce for that, you know. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to try and hold on to my Switch for as long as I can. But damn, the way things are going with the Joy-Cons, the Switch Pro could really win me over. On to the next piece of news. We've got Xbox. Where is it now? Xbox are actually celebrating 20 years this year, which is really cool. Now, they're actually celebrating it. The actual anniversary is in November, but they're starting their celebrations now, which is usually a good sign. I know it might sound a little bit ridiculous, but it's usually, I promise you, it's usually a good sign. Here we go. They have a nice video as well. There we go. Let's just mute that. So that's cool. So that means we may have like a full year of them doing like little celebrations, maybe game giveaways. Who knows? They've already released a cool theme for your Xbox Series X surrounding the OG Xbox, which is really cool that they've done that. Here's the funny thing. I swear to God, these generations, the consoles keep kind of like switching places. So last generation, you couldn't get you could do nothing but, you know, for backgrounds, you could do nothing on Xbox but have like little screenshots and that. It was kind of piss poor. But on PlayStation, you have these amazing dynamic themes. And now on PS5, they don't have dynamic themes anymore. Yes, hopefully they'll bring them back. But lo and behold, on Xbox Series X, they're already, you know, having these kind of animated backgrounds. No, they're not full-on dynamic themes that we're used to or anything, but there's a possibility. The problem is, I think, with Xbox's UI, which I find quite cluttered, I don't think it lends itself too well to something like a dynamic theme. Whereas on, you know, PS4, you had that left to right motion, and it allowed for this awesome kind of background foreground thing. One of my favorites was what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you had Tifa up on the water tower looking up at the stars, and as you moved around, she would move into the foreground to the background. Just little things like that. Obviously, this doesn't matter about, you know, when you're playing games and that, but hell yeah. Hell yes. I hope you're doing well, Bri. I hope you're all good. Alright, let's see. So, yeah, that's big congrats to Xbox. I know for a fact that they are planning, they want Halo Infinite to be this kind of like brand new launch of Halo and celebrating 20 years of Xbox, you know. For sure, that's exactly what they're going for. So, without a shadow of doubt, I'd say if I was to be a betting man, I would say that Halo Infinite will actually launch on the 20th year anniversary of Xbox. It was such crazy times back then, you know. It was one of the first American, home consoles. They got The Rock, and they even got Bill Gates himself to turn up at the event. Looking back, like 2001, it was so funny looking. Like it's just a product. The early 2000s, like very early, like 2000, 2001, 2002, were still a product of like that late 90s effect. And it's to look back now, it's so embarrassing. It's so funny. Like I can look back at some of the 90s and go, yeah, that was kind of cheesy, but it was that 90s kind of stuff, you know. Kind of like how we look back at the 80s. The 80s will live on forever. But the early 2000s, I'm not ready, man. It's some of that like early hip hop and the boy band and girl band stuff, and I don't know why you want to call it, but it's like fucking white hip hop where everybody, oh Jesus, people still act like that, and I'm like, good God, man, good God. Frosted tips and everything, you know. Strange times for sure. But yeah, it was a great time for video games for sure. Hell yes. I mean, by 2001, you had like the PlayStation 2 just selling like crazy. You had the GameCube, and then the Xbox came in. Oh man, good times. All right, cool. So yeah, so far they just kind of brought out that little video. They're slowly going to start drip feeding more and more little announcements, I'd say. They also talked about how they have this month's list of Game Pass games that are out. You got Red Dead Online. You don't need the full game now. You can just go straight into the online. Just Cause Reloaded, the whole shebang. Psychonauts, if you haven't played that, is an amazing 3D platformer that will mess with your head. Lovely, lovely stuff. Classic. And the sequel will be coming out sometime this year. And Final Fantasy X and X2, fantastic Final Fantasy games. First voice acted ones back then. And then Remnant, you know my love for Remnant. Hell yes. Remnant just got a recent PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrade, so now is a perfect time to play it, you know. A gorgeous 1080 60 or 4K 30. Get in there. Get shooting. It's an amazing game. Alright, cool. On to the next piece of news. A lovely little piece of news. Twitter compression on videos is so bad lately, but Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart has just gone gold. Now we know how important when video games go gold, they're printed on the disc. There's, no more delays, no more nothing. You might still see a day one patch. That's usually how things go now. But it means that, times it's good. It's good. Congrats to the whole team at Insomniac, because that, it means it's coming. June 11th, no delays, no nothing. It's a PS5 exclusive. I'll be getting it. I can't wait. I feel kind of bad for anyone who's desperately trying to get a PS5, but let me tell you, we've got Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank now when that comes out, and then Astro's Playroom. Oh no, it's not Astro's Playroom. It's Astrobot. He has his own little game that you get free with the PS5. So that's 3 family-friendly, fantastically fun for every age, even my age. Games that are on PS5. So it's great to see that, and it's great to see Ratchet and Clank doing great. We've got Rivet there, the new Lombax. She looking cute. We'll see how things go. It kind of weirdly reminds me of what Crash did with Crash 4, so it's going to be hard to remove that from my head for a little bit with all the different dimensional ships and that. But yeah, congrats to Insomniac. I can't wait to see how this game checks out. Speaking of Insomniac, let me see if I can find this. Here we go. Boop. This next little piece, also concerning Insomniac, is this beautiful headline. IGN are reporting on it. Nothing is stopping Insomniac from making Sunset Overdrive 2. Come on! You know how much I've wanted this. And I talk about this a lot. Like, you start to put the puzzle pieces together yourself. Obviously, we don't know the details in the background, the red tape. But just recently, Sony did they basically trademarked like Sunset Overdrive. This is what I was talking about. Like, I think Insomniac own the IP, so when they made that game exclusive for Xbox, and then they were bought by Sony, they basically bought the Sunset Overdrive IP as well, including a number of other ones, like Spider-Man and all that good stuff. This is great. Sunset Overdrive is a wonderful game. No matter where you play it, I just want more people to play it. And a start for this, for sure, would be bringing it to PlayStation. This would be a good indicator for Insomniac to see, is the want there? Do people want a sequel? I know I do, but We'll see. I think it's a wonderful game. It's like Jet Set Radio, Tony Hawk's, and Ratchet and Clank all got together and made this crazy soup. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just high octane all the way. I love it. Yeah, like, we'll see how things go. Like, Insomniac are very busy right now. They're obviously working on Ratchet and Clank. You know, maybe that might get some DLC. Who knows what that happen with that. But that's coming out next month. Get that all nice and tightly polished up. They're obviously working on the next Spider-Man. That's still like a year or two away. So, yeah, and they've said they have a lot of exciting stuff coming as well, you know. Hell yeah. So, we had Marcus Smith talking about it to GQ and IGN's report now. It's always, the whole industry is kind of like a big circle jerk, you know. It starts at one interview and it gets around, and eventually you got people like me talking about it, who I'm just, you know, average Joe. Anyway, so yeah, he says never say never is the pro. Obviously we're part of Sony now, but we own the IP. That's the most important part. I actually think in the long run, unless the publisher owns the studio, I think every single studio should own their own IP. This is a horrible thing that happens in the industry, where you've got studios that lose the IP, lose their very games, you know, this their livelihood. It might be everything they've got to their name, you know, and they lose it where you know, the studio is dissolved or they move on from it. It's sad, you know. The IP is the intellectual property. It's just, you'll hear that a lot when it comes to anything in the whole world is resulted in you know, with IPs, whether it's movies. It could even come down to the vaccines that's going on right now, you know. So unfortunately, it's the way it goes. When it comes down to patents, when it comes down to any kind of property itself, you have to deal with IPs and red tape for sure. Hello, Cyber. Hey, Bernie. Look at this. Look at this awesome news. There is hope for a Sunset Overdrive 2 in the future. If I was to say, like, be a betting man, I could see this coming by something like, you know, 2024 or something like that. A nice mid-generation surprise, you know, blow people away that E3 and just go, wow, this is it, you know. And I think so. I think I'd love to see it, you know. Sunset Overdrive still plays wonderful on Xbox, and you can play it on the Series X, but if it was to get, you know, even just a cheeky new piece of DLC, or, you know, a nice little clean up with some 4K 60 goodness, it would be wonderful on PlayStation. It's a must play, in my opinion, and one of the coolest new IPs that happened last generation. How's your day going, dude? How was your day? How's your Thursday, man? We're gonna be playing more Resident Evil Village after this. We're going to a big old haunted house. I'm excited, man. I'm freaking out. Super happy. I'm killing it today. Day is going well. I love to hear it. Here's another great piece of news. Xbox is celebrating 20 years, Bernie. Can you believe that? 20 years since 2001 when they launched it with The Rock. They had The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, in a giant, he was in like a tan suit or something. He looked ridiculous. But this was him just coming. It was the height of his, you know, WWE career. So it was big. And they also had Bill Gates as well. Hell yes. But yeah, congrats to Xbox. They just announced that the new Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance remake or reboot is coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. That's super cool. I'm excited to see this one. This one's going to be launching at $40 anyway, so if you want to buy it on PlayStation, I definitely urge it. Now, they're calling it an RPG, but it feels closer to someone like the Vermintide games. It is co-op by nature. It's third person. Like the old Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games were incredible. That was my fucking childhood. That little finger, I love it. But those were isometric back in the day, and this is clearly very much third person, over the shoulder goodness. I think you can still play it single player and all that. So hell yeah. Some good old fashioned bosses and yeah, dungeon crawling RPG goodness. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm excited for that. And it's great to see that on the Game Pass. I'll probably play that on the Game Pass, you know. Why the hell not? I was going to get it either way. I think you can even get a cheeky little pre-order bonus as well. There's a lot of games like this as well. We got like Necromunda is coming out. You can get like a 10% saving on that. You can almost get that game for $30 on the store. There's also, is it Storm? Another Warhammer game, Storm Force or something like that. It's hard to keep up with some, I'm not gonna lie. That's super cool that they got that. Hell yeah. I think what happened there is, oh yeah, what's the actual launch for this? June 22nd, excuse me. So June 22nd for the Dark Alliance reboot. I think what happened there is probably, they were a little bit worried, you know. June is kind of packed, and this would be coming off right at the end of E3 and that. So maybe they were a little bit worried. They probably saw the success of Outriders on Xbox Game Pass, And right now, like, it doesn't happen very often, but I'd say there's quite a nice percentage of people who go out there and buy the full game after playing it on Game Pass, you know, if their Game Pass lapses or whatever. But at the end of the day, they just want people playing these games, and something like this probably will have a little bit of a share of microtransactions. I'm not too sure, but it's nice to see Baldur's Gate getting that love. Hell yeah, they've dropped the Baldur's Gate name, which is I think is a little bit unfortunate, but maybe they just didn't want to compete with their own Baldur's Gate 3. But so they're just calling it Dungeons and Dragons. But I mean, it's all the same at the end of the day. But this is their way of doing more games in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. You can see that happen a lot lately with League of Legends. You know, Riot are doing an insane amount of single player, multiplayer games. It's all that money, they're putting it back into making more games. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Once they're not like mobile and microtransaction heavy, I'm okay with that. That's the best way of doing it, because League of Legends is one of the biggest games on the planet. There's no doubt about that. And you gotta be doing something with all that money, right? Hell yeah. Alright, cool. On to the next piece of news. We know that E3 is going to be a weird one this year, just like last year. But they're starting to detail what they're going to do for this digital event. Apparently, they're going to create an app for virtual booths and avatars and all that. I think that's a great idea. We saw this with the Steam Game Festival, and it's clear that E3 have definitely taken a whole chapter out of that book. The Steam Game Festival was super cool. You could create your own little character, all in Steam, and walk around and try the demos like that. And I just thought that was really cool. My hair is not cooperating today. It keeps falling down. I call it the Clark Kent curl, because that's what it's like. But yeah, it's super cool that they're doing that. I hope everyone gets in on this. This will probably lead to maybe some cool little rewards. Maybe you'll even get your name into some competitions and that. There'll definitely be like drops, all this stuff. This will all be happening next month. Knowing how this stuff is prepped, the app will probably crash and fall asunder more times than not. But I will be reporting and doing my best to do some live streams all about E3, like I do every year, which is probably one of my favorite times of the year. I actually like that kind of that constant hype. It does. You definitely sleep with a smile on your face, that's for sure. But I love it. One day I hope to go to something like E3 or whatever happens. But sure, it's all good, you know. I think most gamers and YouTubers and Twitch streamers are kind of, you know, starting out or up and coming or whatever. A lot of them do want to you know, go to E3. That is the GOAT right there. God damn it here. Alright, let's see. So yeah, it's cool that they're designing an app. I'm not that into what ESA is doing, but E3 is more than some board to me, you know. It's bigger than that. It's a nice movement, even if it just creates more hype around game announcements, you know. Alright, cool. Let's see, is there anything else there? I read something real quick. It said about Elden Ring. Here we go. Yeah. Watching thousands of people demand Elden Ring. Yeah. Every single conference we've had, live stream we've had, is people just screaming for Elden Ring. It's so funny. Like, even if a cartoony game pops up, Elden Ring? Elden Ring. But I'll tell you the power of From Software. But, you know, when things become a meme, there's always, like, at least 1/10 of that group that don't even play the games. It's just they're part of the memes. The memes! Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Slowly but surely, you're going to get more and more little information leaking out. But I'll be here. I'll be talking about it. Hell yeah. We won't miss a beat. Yeah, EA just recently announced their EA Play, which will be at the end of July. So if you were to ask me, like, how long will E3 and all that go on, that's probably a good indicator there. You know, you get the first week of June to the last week of July. So a good 2-month thing. Yeah, hell yeah. It might not all be, you know, live streams and that, but they'll be sprinkled around, you know. Everybody wants their moment in the light. Alright, cool. On to the next little piece of news. We were talking about this as well. There's a rumor of them bringing Rambo and John McClane coming to Warzone. Like, that's fucking crazy, right? Now, we've known about Rambo for a minute, but now we're talking about John McClane. And just as this rumor dropped, pretty much Activision pretty much kind of came out with it, but they didn't give any names. They just have a nice poster on Twitter. They're calling it the 80s action heroes. Some heroes die hard, others draw first blood. I mean, that's all you need to know. There's the what was the Yakatomi building? I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. That was the building that John McClane had to fight his way through in the first Die Hard. So yeah, the fact that it's 80s action heroes, there'll be probably way more than just Rambo and John McClane. I could see them bringing like Arnie from Commando in there or something, or from Predator. Who knows? Who knows? They'll get Arnie in there somehow. You gotta, we'll see. They're no strangers to doing celebrity cameos and that. So yeah, this will keep things going for a while. This kind of solidifies that they were meant to be bringing Blackout back as the, you know, this year's Battle Royale, but they saw that Warzone is still ticking on, still doing fantastic numbers, so why, you know, interrupt that? So they're going to keep Warzone going. I'd say Warzone will still be around for another at least 2 years, unless it just completely flatlines, which is entirely possible. It only takes one game to flatline a whole other ones, you know. Look at what Among Us did to other games and things like that, you know. So that's pretty cool. I like that they're doing that, you know. And the question then becomes, what are they going to look like, you know? How bad are the character models going to look like? Anyway, cool. On to the next little piece of news. Got some really cute little wholesome news coming out of Kotaku. Somebody has made a Biomutant plushie. And for some reason this is the only picture of it, don't ask. But it is so cute. Look at the little detail on him. He's got a little scarf, little eye patch. I need this in my life. You don't understand. I need this. I need it. But Biomutant is coming out at the end of May. Sorry, end of May. This month is so jam-packed. And holy hell, I'm excited for it. They just showed off a little video of you being able to craft your own weapons. And hell yes! It looks like Dead Rising. One guy was putting a guitar together, then electrifying it and beating the crap out of monsters. That's awesome. That's very metal. I like it. Yeah, so I don't know if this is... Oh yeah, this is probably made by somebody... Oh no, it's THQ Nordic. Wow, so they probably will be selling this. Damn, I thought it might have been something on like Etsy or something. Because, you know, if you look hard enough, somebody will be making exactly what you're after, even if you can't get it from official channels. It's so cute. Oh, look. Wow, they've even got the map. Oh, no, it's the map from Kingdoms of Amalur. Okay. On a cushion, no doubt. That's so funny. Maybe it's not a... Is it a cushion? I want to get the Kingdoms of Amalur remaster, whatever it's called. It's a little bit expensive right now. But I want to get that. Because it was a great game back on the 360. But they had no business releasing it full price. I think it should have been like 30 bucks. There's a great history around what happened with Kingdoms of Amalur. But yeah, this is super cute. We'll see how this goes. I know a lot of people are starting the Mass Effect Legendary Edition today. The big channels get it early as it is. It is what it is. And some of them even have the Mass Effect helmet that you get with the special edition, which is like 150 bucks. Super cool. Super cool. I wish I had one. Not gonna lie. Alright, cool. Next little piece of news. In Exile, which is a RPG dev that's responsible for the Wasteland series and some of the old like Fallout games. Xbox did buy them not that long ago. But they're in talks with making a first-person RPG for Xbox, which is super cool because they're usually making, you know, top-down isometric RPGs, you know, like Wasteland is, you know, and they do very well. You've got like Pillars of Eternity out there and other games like Divinity, Original Sin, and that they do fantastic, and even recently, Disco Elysium as well. So you know, isometric games do very well. They're pretty cool. So it'll be nice to see what these guys can do, you know. I have a feeling they may be working on something Fallout related. I mean, they have such a history with it. And we know Bethesda are working on Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield and who knows what else. So they might be a little bit too busy. Now, they are hiring for one of their Austin-based studios. So I wouldn't put it out of... yeah, it might be completely new. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, and Obsidian, who are known for making Fallout New Vegas, one of the best Fallout games ever, they're working probably on the Outer Worlds sequel and Avowed, which looks like Skyrim on acid. I love it. So yeah, very, very busy. Like, you have no idea how many games Xbox has coming. It's insane. I'd say the next, you know, 3 to 4 years at least are just going to be jam-packed. But it's up to them how they space that out. They should do what PlayStation did the whole of the last generation and just make sure that each year you're getting like 2 to 3 big exclusives and then you're cool, you know, maybe two big ones, one small, whatever you need to do, because that allowed Sony to give developers enough time to have your moment, You know, when something drops like Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War 2018, everybody's talking about it the whole year, you know? It's not just, oh, that came out, nice, you know? This is how I feel about what's going on with Resident Evil Village right now. It's super cool, I'm loving it, but people have already, like, 5-6 playthroughs, and I've got a bad feeling by the end of the month, nobody's going to be talking about it. And not in a bad way, it's just, we are, the video game, you know, community, we are people who tend to, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, you know. We wait and wait for this game to come out. We eat it super fast, and then we immediately go, what's next? What's next? You know, that kind of way. So, yeah, we're always chomping at the bit for more. Like a spoiled kid at the buffet. And sometimes that can lead to a lot of games being glossed over or treated like crap, even if they're made by, like, one person or a small team, which I hate to see that kind of stuff. We are definitely spoiled. Spoiled for choice and spoiled in general. But if you can, you know, take a breath and enjoy these games and enjoy the indie games, support your indie developers as much as you can, then, you know, they can rise up and make huge, incredible masterpieces for sure. Look at some of the best games out there right now, like Hades and Celeste and that. Massive games. Alright, next little piece of news. This was a nice little mistake that happened that everybody quickly picked up on. Destiny 2 adding crossplay. Apparently they let it go live a little bit early and everybody already figured it out. Someone was in game and the guy he was playing with on his team was on PC. It was on PC. So I'd say at the start you're going to have like Xbox and PC. You know how Sony is with crossplay. We'll see where that goes. I'm glad this will probably give, you know, Destiny 2 a little more fuel in the engine before they're ready to announce what they're working on next, you know. I think Bungie are probably prepping something, you know. There was talks of a new IP called Matter and obviously maybe Destiny 3 in a little bit of future. The idea of them making Destiny 3 is kind of what made them pull away and, you know, sever their ties with Activision, because Activision wanted Destiny 3 out by like this year, you know, or even last year. That's the way they work. And Bungie said no, we want to take a step back, really polish this thing, make it special, because, you know, let's be honest, Bungie are one of the most incredible, you know, FPS shooters devs out there, and they made some of the best with Halo, you know, and they kind of had a little bit of bad blood at the end with Microsoft, with Halo and that, you know, and a lot of people kind of miss what they did. But, you know, I'd like for them to take their time and, you know, because when they do, they just rock it. They absolutely rock it. Hell yeah. So this will be a bit of fun. We already know, like, this will probably break things like PvP. Whenever you have crossplay, doesn't matter what the genre between console and PC, you know, PvP always is broken because you're working with people who have mouse and keyboard aim, which is so much faster than anything you can do with an analog stick. A lot of people debate that, but there's no debating it, especially the amount of stuff you can have with mouses these days, the game pads, you know. It's insane. You can have a whole keyboard on your mouse, all at the click of a little button. But yeah, that'll be a bit of fun. We'll see where that goes. They'll want to launch that properly, you know. It's always rough when things get leaked like that. But sometimes they do it on purpose too. Alright, the next little piece of news. This year marks the 35th anniversary for Dragon Quest, known as Dragon Warrior in Japan. This series is so big that Japan has a national holiday every time a game comes out. I'm not even lying. And their most recent game, Dragon Quest XI, was no short of a beautiful masterpiece. One of the most gorgeous RPGs on console. Super fun. It still had that tried and true Dragon Quest goodness, the slimes and that. You know, it got a little bit repetitive like most RPGs do near the end. The end game's always up to, you know, is it worth it? Should I bother? But they also managed to bring out Dragon Quest XI S, I believe it's called, where you can play it all in like 16-bit, and it's super cool, super cool. And they restored the orchestral soundtrack, which I was happy to hear, because when I played it, the standard edition, it had a chiptune soundtrack and all that, and it wasn't the best, unfortunately. That's a whole different discussion for another day, but it's great to see this. I think a lot of people are hoping for Dragon Quest 12. I think that's a little bit early. Now, we might see something, might see a logo. I'd say that's entirely possible. No different than what Elder Scrolls did with 6, but I don't think they're ready for mainstream with Dragon Quest 12. They have been working on another game, though. It's surrounding the anime. I think it's called I should have it pulled up here. Damage Cyber. It's like The Adventures of Kai, I believe it's called. Conquest Adventures. Yeah. Oh no, Dai. Sorry, not Kai. D-A-I. Yeah. So I believe that's gotten its own game. Is that right? Let me double check that. Sorry. Yeah. So there's The Adventures of Dai, A Hero's Bond. That's the newest game. Now, I think that there's one that's mobile, but I also think they're working on one for everybody to play. There's also Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai, Infinity Strass. You gotta love these names, man. I can't even keep up with them. That's pretty cool. I like it. It's all based around the anime that they've been doing. Yeah, and with what happened with the end of Dragon Quest 11, I don't want to spoil or anything, but it looks like they may be going back and maybe continuing or remaking an old game. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Infinity Strass. Oh, I was just about to say. No, it's an RPG. Quality's not the best looking, but it looks okay. Let me pull this up. Sorry, what am I doing? I'm looking at another screen. Let's just do that right there. Quality's not the best. Why? Like it says 720p. It's not 720p. I hate when YouTube does that. So yeah, this is Infinity Strass. This is, I don't know if this is, it's not mobile, I don't think. But it's definitely not up to the quality of Dragon Quest 11. But it's nice to see this kind of stuff happening. The other one I talked about is mobile. But we'll see. With it being an anniversary, a lot of people think, you know, oh Jesus, anniversary, you gotta do everything. But sometimes, when it's that mid-decade anniversary, like 35, 25 years, they don't tend to celebrate it that much. You know, it's usually the decade anniversaries that usually leads to bigger celebrations. You know, 30 years, 40 years, that kind of stuff. I feel anyway. But it's always just an excuse to, you know, bring out new games. You know, it's a great way of tying in. So you can see this is the kind of, it does seem to be a straight up more dungeon crawler. I like the cell shading vibe to it. That's nice. You know, we've always had that, but it's hard to go backwards when you've had that incredible beauty that is Dragon Quest 11. JRPGs are really like finding their feet and just becoming absolute, you know, beautiful masterpieces on these new consoles. You know, like the likes of Dragon Quest 11 and the new Tales of Arise game looks unbelievable. And I've just been playing a little bit of Genshin Impact lately, and it is gorgeous. Yes, it does remind me of Breath of the Wild, but that's okay. As soon as you get into the combat, though, it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, Infinity Strass. Yeah, The Adventures of Dai, and it's all connected to an anime and that, which is pretty cool. And I think it's an old manga as well, which is awesome. All right, cool. Let's see. Next little piece of news, we did that one. Mass Effect, yes, we're just talking about this, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. They should have tried to put the word trilogy in there somewhere, because people first joining the series, or people who don't game that often, but wanted to get in there, are not going to know that this is the complete, you know, trilogy. You know, I call it like Mass Effect Legendary Trilogy or something like that. That's I try and get the word trilogy in there somewhere because it helps, you know. As much as we hate the whole idea about putting remastered this and all that nonsense, even when the Darksiders games did it, it felt just a little bit cringe when they were like War Master and Definitive Edition. Like, you know, it's a funny little joke, but it's not helping people buy the game. You see that on the shelf and you can't even pronounce what it's saying. So I think it was just them having a little jab at how many remasters and stuff come out. But yeah, so far so good. Like the issue with this game, and this is such an EA thing, is that they did not send out early copies for review. Now usually when I hear that, that screams that there is issues. They usually try and hide it so that the review scores can come out the day of launch, so people will buy it without, you know, seeing reviews. And that's usually what happens. That's not always the case though. And I believe with this, it's definitely that the games are completely fine. But the issue, I believe, was that there was a massive day one patch that they wanted the reviewers to have before they reviewed it. So I think I think people were saying this patch was, you know, upwards of 13 gigs, which is quite a good bit for kind of an older series, you know. Nowadays, you're like, dude, have you played fucking Master Chief Collection? Have you played Warzone? Good God, that's nothing. But, you know, it is for some of these games. You know, when you think of something as beautiful as Genshin Impact, it's only like 9 gigs, you know, it's when it comes to sizes of games, it's subjective. A lot of those bigger games, 100 gigs, 80 gigs, is usually got to do with 4K assets, 4K cutscenes, audio, that stuff really adds up. But the actual game itself could be probably, you know, in the low 10s and 20s. 10s and 20s. But yeah, so far, so good. Like I said, you're not going to have too many reviews yet, just because everybody's kind of playing it today. I'm not even going to lie. You got like people like Eurogamer and that are just playing it today to get the review out. So yeah, Game Informer, Polygon, all of them have said like, we do not have a review ready. You're going to have to wait because we got it late. They tend to use that as like, you know, fuck these guys. Yeah, some reviewers do get pissy, especially around, like, if they pull this kind of shit, well, it used to be, if they pull this kind of stuff back in, you know, March or November of any year, this always pissed off the reviewers, because they were already, like, knee-deep with 3 or 4 games to review, so for you to have that little break with no games, and then have them all slam you at the same time, this is where you get, like, you know, really bad takes, and reviews that seem to have a biased opinion and things like that. Now remember, reviews are just one person's opinion. It's not even one outlet's opinion. It's just one person at that outlet, you know. So you might not like certain reviewers, and that's okay. It is what it is. There's been so much controversy around reviewers and plagiarism and all sorts of nasty business going on. That side of the industry, when it comes to actual journalism, which I don't actually think there is such a thing as game journalism in my opinion, but you know, it's just fucking clickbait at the end of the day. But there are some great people out there, and I urge you to check out the YouTubers, the YouTube reviewers first, people like ACG and things like that, you know. Even like Angry Joe and Jim Sterling, which are definitely kind of like sensational media journalist kind of guys, you know. They're doing it for the clicks a lot of the time. They don't really care about stuff, you know, as long as it gets them a couple of clicks. But they sometimes they can have pretty good takes, for sure. So yeah, if you're excited for that, I didn't need a review. I want to play these games again. I can't wait. Whether I'll get my copy tomorrow or Monday, like what happened with Resident Evil Village, it is what it is. Slowly but surely, this time next week, things should be opening up again. So I'll be starting to be able to get games day one again. It's shocking when I have to rely on Post and Amazon and stuff. It just, I don't want to buy them digital. I'm refusing, because I'm telling you, something like this would be worth digital though. I think it's going for like 60, 70 bucks. It has every single piece of DLC. I think there's over 20 pieces of DLC across the series. You can even download all the deluxe version stuff. There's a digital comic book. There's a 80-track soundtrack. You can download all this stuff for free on their website. Just look it up. It's like 1.7 gigs. If you're a massive Mass Effect buff, then I urge you definitely get that stuff for free. Hell yes. Yeah, dude, have you ever played the Mass Effect games, Bernie? They're super cool, dude. They're third-person, cover-based shooters. Epic Star Wars. It's BioWare. It was their kind of first big kind of IP. Boop. I know they've had a lot of issues lately with Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and that, but they're clawing themselves back. There's still hope left in the tank. Alright, last piece of news for today. I was reporting on this earlier this week, but it has now been confirmed thanks to PlayStation, but there are 2 brand new colors of DualSenses, which is the name of the I fucking hate IGN.
Play Instant Spins.
Oh my god!
It's free to play and offers.
I hate IGN's player. I hate it so much. But anyway, they look really, really nice. Let's see, is there actually... There we go. Fucking hate that. IGN's video player is the worst dog shit thing ever in the world. But they look really cool. The only issue I have with these controllers, like the crimson red is just beautiful. You know how much I love that dark crimson red. The issue I have with the controller is that the colors on the buttons they're you know, they have no color in them. So you can see, like, I kind of miss how PlayStation has always done it, like, you know, triangle is pink and X is blue and, you know, so on and so on. And people have actually made up versions of OG PlayStation stuff, where controllers and that, where they have, you know, even the PlayStation symbol in the middle has the iconic PlayStation colors. But you know, they're a gorgeous controller for sure. I really love the black. Like I said, I just wish it had the colors on the buttons. Like, I'm not really looking at the buttons, in fairness. Your hand-eye coordination takes over, but it's just really nice. The black with the blue lights, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's a lovely controller. Like I was saying about the inset, so the parts around the analog sticks is actually the kind of, like, what would you call it? Concave maybe? Yeah. That does tend to collect a little bit of dirt, but it's okay. And it does have its own kind of, what would you call it? a finish on the back, you know, a grip. There we go. Jesus, what is my brain? It's definitely getting close to the end of the week. Hell yes. But yeah, nice colors. I don't know. What do you guys think? You like the wine, the crimson, or do you like... They all have their own names as well. They're called Cosmic Red and Midnight Black. They're definitely getting into that color scheme. Xbox has been making a nice little tidy sum on the side with their Xbox Design Lab, where you can go in for a little bit of a fee. You can create your own controller from scratch. You can even change like the thumbsticks, the button colors, everything you want. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool. They've made a nice tidy sum off that. There are people that have like a whole wall full of controllers like that, and you know, you look at that and you can, you know, Jesus Christ, that's like 2 or 3 grand there easy. What am I talking about? It's probably like 5 or 10 grand. These controllers are like 80 bucks each. Good God. But yeah, that's nice. I probably might pick up a black one down the line because that is just very sexy. And it makes me think of old school PlayStation for sure. Do you see how close it is to something like an Xbox controller now? It's still got its own unique design, and I love that touchpad, but it's more shapely now, you know? I always found that kind of annoyed me. Even growing up with PlayStation, you didn't notice it as a kid because you had smaller hands. But as I grew up and got bigger hands, trying to play even back on the PlayStation 3 with the DualShock 3, it's just, I just can't anymore. I'm always like arching over it, you know. It's not as bad as what the Joy-Cons got though. But no, they're all great controllers in their own right. This one is a lot of fun. I still think they're a little bit... The triggers are a lot better on the DualSense than they are the DualShock 4, but they're still not there. They're still not there. Now they have like a little nubbin at the end. I still know where to put it. A little lip at the end of the trigger to rest your finger, and it helps for sure. But I've actually noticed it getting caught in everything. If I sit it down on my lap on any kind of fabric like a couch, it catches and it'll start pressing, you know, the trigger. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, results may vary on that kind of stuff. But yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah, the blue light really does make it. I really like seeing it in the dark as well, even though it does drain battery. But yeah, nice to see they're finally working on some new colors. Hell yeah, these will look very nice. So I would like to see them do one that like is a tribute to PlayStation. You know, let me find it for you, right? Alright. This is just a mock-up, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. Actually, I don't like this one. This one's much better. How does people do this? Is it open a new window? Is that how they do it? I've seen... okay, whatever. I don't know. People can bring up like a Google image and have it the full screen, but I can't do that. I have to like save it and add a media and all that bullshit. Anyway, this is just on Reddit. But yeah, someone mocked this up. That's what I want, Bernie. Maybe it looks a little plasticky or cheap, but I really like that. Yeah. I probably would still make the PlayStation buttons like invisible, you know, see-through like they are normally. Where the hell did I put it? Here, it's over here. Oh, damn, the cops are coming. The cops, yeah, I'd still make them kind of, but I would put the color inside of it, almost like a marble effect, you know. But yeah, I would like something like this. I think this will come down the line. They'll probably wait for some PlayStation anniversary or another. But yeah, that is today's Daily Dose of Gaming. Thank you for joining me, guys.